Okay, you caught me selling this plant because it smells so good. And this is a Pelargonium, otherwise known as a Geranium. And this is a particular one that is native to South Africa. And if you've ever seen the Pelargonium tour that we did at Hortus Botanicus on the YouTube channel, then I would highly recommend that you go see it because it is such a charming one and they have one of the more extensive collections of Pelargoniums. The only unfortunate thing is that you can't smell the different varieties of them. And if you're familiar with geraniums, they often have a really redolent, a leaf redolent of some type of smell. This one is a little bit more like a soft, maybe like lemony with a little hint of anise flavor, which is quite awesome. If you have a southern or western exposure, then you have probably a tremendous amount of light, and I'm talking about if you're in the northern hemisphere. And this is a type of plant that actually will grow really well in full sun or bright light conditions. So if you're looking for something that's not quite a cacti or not quite a succulent, then you might actually want to try a Pelargonium. This is one of many different types of species of Pelargonium that I have, and I've actually grown more cultivated varieties that are typically found in garden centers. I would say that this one's a little bit more of a special kind of species that you would get from a specialty grower. And you'll notice that I have this in a very well draining mix, also almost a little bit of a rockier mix. And it's because this plant requires a little bit more of a well draining soil. This is an extremely drought tolerant plant, and you could see that there's some little dried bits on this, and that's totally okay because this plant will sometimes lose its leaves and it'll come right back up, and that is pretty typical for a lot of Pelargoniums. As far as watering goes, I water this pretty regularly, I would say once a week during the growing season, and when it's not in the growing season or in the winter season, it's more like twice a week, so it's not that much of an intense water hog, if you will. As far as fertilizing goes, it is also not a very heavy feeder. So if you do a more, I would say, balanced fertilizer on a more annual or maybe quarterly basis, that's going to be perfectly all right for this particular plant. And it is not used to a tremendous amount of humidity, so I don't think that you need to actually have humidity, even though it has these like really nice little dainty leaves. It's really the succulent nature of the stem that is making this plant a little bit more of a hardy plant or a hardy species. As far as pests go, I haven't had any problems with this plant. I've been growing this, I would say, somewhere between 3 and 4 years. So I've had no complaints whatsoever. It can look a little raggedy, I would say, down below, but I think that is also part of the charm of this plant.